superstar who said that about TiVo Mania. The NBA's best player right now is PTI debates, and the greatest upsets in NFL postseason history.
I believe the resurgence of Indiana to be the best story of the college basketball season. We welcome in Indiana coach Tom Crean, and we begin with this. Do you think the program is 100% back?
Well, I don't know if we're in that context. I never try to look at it like that. When you're coaching, you're so caught up in if you can get better, what it's going to take to get better. I mean, we have been in a situation where it's been so hard the last couple of years that you never want to look at it like you're 100% anything. But I know these guys are 100% committed to being as good as they can be, and I think that's a real positive.
Tom, you mentioned those difficult days early on. You had a 6-25 record your first season. You inherited things that you didn't create as a staff or a program. Was there a point somewhere along the way where you said, what in the world did I take this job for?
Probably a couple days, but you get over it fast. You really do. You stay so locked in to the task at hand, and you realize that you're responsible for so many more people than yourself. But there's moments that you feel that way, but we had such a strong group of people, and a strong faith in God has helped so much of this as well, personally.
Cody Zeller is your first big, huge recruit since going to Indiana. Can you talk about when you landed him, how you felt?
Well, the day that he called, he was making his announcement, and he made the phone call, and he said, I have to call the schools that I'm not going to and let them know that I've made another decision. And every bit of blood in my body, I think, went to my feet. And it was a miserable feeling. He said, but fortunately, you're not one of them. I'm coming to IU. And it was I was stunned, but it was an incredible feeling. There were hugs, high fives, all the way across the office, you know, with our family was around because we knew that time was coming. And it was a great, great feeling, no question about it.
Prior to that, when you struggled at Indiana, I imagine there was negative recruiting against you. Can you describe what that was like?
Well, I don't think that's changed. I think that's going to continue. I think it's part of it. I mean, so much of it it's part of the college landscape in so many ways. But I think the biggest things were we're not developing our players, and will they ever win? And even if you're there, will they be good enough to win? There's no question that we had some players have some blind faith in us in the sense of where the program and the team was at. But I think they had great faith in where the university was at and where the fan base was at.
Well, let's talk about that fan base for a second, Tom. I mean, people in Indiana are used to great basketball, and obviously you've been coaching in the Midwest for a while. You're aware of that. Any part of that support surprise you that you had so much of it going through some tough times?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, because again, everything is a first-time experience when you're going through something like this. We were still putting maybe 78, 80 some odd % of capacity in the building that first year. And there were other programs around the country that had much better records, much better standings, and they weren't even drawing close to that. So you knew when you would see that people were really, really going to support this and continue with it. And the former players here had a lot to do with that because so many of them never wavered with what we were trying to do.
I want to take you away from basketball for a second. Your wife, Joni, is the sister of Jim and John Harbaugh. And we want to know, is that family as insanely competitive and passionate as it looks on the outside?
Oh, I think more so. I think more so because I think they're well aware that the cameras are on them in the public domain that they're in right now. I've not been around people that are as competitive as Jim and John, with the exception of Joni, who has it. And I don't think there's any question that much of it comes from their dad, but even more of it comes from their mom.
And we're going to get you out of here on this because we all look forward to the tantalizing possibility that both Harbaughs get to the Super Bowl. In which case, which one are you rooting for?
I am rooting for a tie. Okay, there's absolutely no doubt about it. We won't wear any red because it could be construed to be supporting the 49ers. There'll be no purple. I mean, it'll be some off-the-wall color. The Thanksgiving game, I know it was really hard on her parents. It was extremely hard on Joni, and I think it was even hard on me because it's it was hard to find any joy in that game because you don't want to see anybody disappointed. But if there's a way that they could play 60 minutes and it turn into a tie, that'd be a win for the rest of the family.
I won't let you go without this. That's who you're rooting for. Is Joni rooting for anybody, or is she lining up with you?
No, she's lining up with me. The kids are probably rooting for whoever would give them the most gear. So our children could be bought. And with that being said, the 49ers are down on the gear a little bit. Jim needs to pick the gear thing up. But no, I think Joni would feel the same way.
Thank you so much for joining us, Tom.
Thank you, Tom. Appreciate it.
We're taking a break. Coming up, Wilbon rips Tom Crean behind his back because he's a backstabber.
No, I'm not. He's a Big Ten man. I'm not ripping anybody. That's probably you.
On my journey across America, I've learned that when you ask someone in Texas if they want